It is 100% on us, and we don't get to blame the Democrats. I'm Bryan Slaton. I'm State Representative, House District 2, which is Hunt, Hopkins, and Van Zandt counties. A lot of people have asked, and also sometimes are surprised to know that Democrats serve as chairman in the Texas House, and that's 100% true. We spend a lot of money in the general election to defeat Democrats. A lot of narratives are written about, how bad they are, how we don't want them in leadership. We don't want them to have the elected office, but yet in the Texas House, we literally give them chairmanships, which means they have more leverage and more power than they earn on election day. I don't think other members necessarily hide it. I think they just accept it. A lot of it is the legislature is treated as just a club. I mean, there's a lot of nice people. We have to hang out together and we go to meals and other things. We're with each other a lot. So, of course, they want a camaraderie. And I think the Republican members don't want to mess that up. I think they're hoping that if the Democrats take over, that the Democrats will make sure they're chairman, or they just want to have this persona as being bipartisan. The problem is what we lose while they're gaining the friendship, the bipartisan persona and all that, we're losing good conservative public policy being implemented in our life. And I've been asked, what conservative legislation is killed? Well, any is possible. Any on day one, because as bills are moving, like I say, these Democrat chairmen can say, hey, y'all have this important bill in these committees. Those are dead on arrival. Because why? These are moving. And it just holds our bills hostage. And, we don't get hearings on the Trump wall. We don't get hearings on banning in-state tuition for illegals. And on and on and on, we see problems. The CRT bill we had in the regular session got watered down by the Democrats. People say that if we don't allow Democrats to be chairman, then somehow we're going to look just like DC. Because when you see up in Congress, we're trying to win the House back. That's the talk up in DC. Guess what? If Republicans around the country show up and vote, and we have the majority in the U.S. Congress, we aren't punished with Nancy Pelosi's leadership. That seems like a pretty common sense strategy, common sense, a result of Republicans showing up to vote. In Texas, you're about to see, 6 or 7, 8, 9 months bashing Beto, bashing AOC, the Democrats, and Joe Biden's failed policies. But what they don't want to tell you is that if Beto was running for Texas House of Representatives, he could be a chairman. Nancy Pelosi could be a chairman. All these Democrats they want to point to could be a chairman in the Texas House of Representatives. So in a way, we look worse than DC. What does it say about our Republican leadership? That there are Republicans that instead of them becoming an actual chairman in the Texas House, they would rather vote to give it away to Democrats because there's 30-something committees. There's Republicans that are not going to be chairman of the Texas House, and a lot of members down there live for that title. Let me tell you, they live for the title of being called chairman, and the reason they're not is because they themselves vote and support giving the chairmanship to Democrats. It doesn't make sense to me or a lot of Republican voters why we do this to ourselves. And I don't really care if someone thinks we look like DC. We need to stand up for Texas, period. And if that means making sure Republicans are the chairman, we should do that. So if this passes, if we wind up getting in the rules that only the majority party can be chairman, implementing conservative public policy in our lives has just increased dramatically. The second thing it does is it puts more pressure on us Republicans, because now we're not going to be able to say, oh, it died in committee or it died in the process. We ran out of time. We are literally in control of what's happening in that body. No one can, mess up the plans by killing these other bills because they're a chairman. We literally are going to be in the driver's seat, and the Democrats will have to fight as though they don't have the votes to stop a lot of things. So it has the potential for great things to happen in Texas, but it also puts way more of a burden on the Republican elected official and our leadership, caucus chair, Speaker of the House, because now if we don't pass these items, it is 100% on us and we don't get to blame the Democrats.
You made it to the end of this video. You're probably one in a million. But since you're here, make sure you go to texasscorecard.com to find more journalism and commentary, all things pertaining to Texas. Make sure you also like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit the bell. That way you can be notified when new videos come out. Thanks.